While I believe in tarot for liberation, personal healing, and confirmation, tarot should not dictate your actions or future. My goal is to create inclusive, interactive experiences that allow you to use your own natural intuition and heart to reflect on your life and create your own discerning path for healing and expansion. Please keep in mind that the only way to receive a tarot card reading from me is by your own actions by following the link in the description below. I will never contact or solicit you for a personal reading. Hi, my name is Cicely, and I am an artist who reads under the name tarotraven. Welcome to my color alignment series. Today's color is yellow. Yellow can represent many things, but is often associated with happiness, positivity, energy, fresh ideas, honor, and caution. Occurring in nature, most often in creatures signifying their toxic composition, it is definitely a color that draws attention. Depending on its intensity and hue, yellow can be perceived as highly energetic and cheerful, or sickly and alerting. Often perceiving yellow can activate memory, encourage communication, build confidence, and stimulate the nervous system. Associated with the solar plexus chakra that aligns strength, personality, power, determination, self-esteem, and confidence. In the pride flag, it represents sun or sunlight. I always enjoy seeing the color yellow. I definitely think it fills us with joy. You'll see here that I have yellow-backed cards I'll be using for a reading, though some do have different hues of orange in some spots, as well as yellow things I've collected around the house. And I've decided that I will be including yellow gold in our discussion because I do think it is in line with the color yellow. Let me introduce you to the 4 piles we have today. We have pile number 1 with the bumblebee jasper, pile number 2 with the yellow pen, pile number 3 with the sunstone, palm stone, and pile number 4 with the peach morganite. Please calmly take a minute to think over which pile you're most intuitively drawn to. If you quiet your mind, it will be really easy to decide which pile you're the most curious about. Link below, I'll have timestamps that will take you directly to whatever pile you picked and lead you to your group's reading. I'll see you there. Bye. If you chose pile number 1 with the bumblebee jasper, then this is your group's reading. Let me just put this over here. I've gone ahead and pre-shuffled some of these yellow-backed cards. I'll give you a closer look at this. And we're going to start with these tarot cards. So you have the 6 of coins in reverse, the Hierophant, Justice reversed, the Ace of Coins, the 4 of Swords, Temperance, the 4 of Wands, and the Ace of Swords in reverse. So my pile number 1s, I feel like you're in a period of time with the 6 of Coins being the focus here in reverse, that you are looking for ways that you can be of greater service in your life. Or maybe you're looking at ways that money or your relationship with money and giving it has not really served you. The 6 of Coins is really so much about charity and the sort of cyclical give and take of charity and being of service. I really like the idea that I think we forget a lot when we think about giving, that giving should not be about what we get out of it or how we feel for giving, or even the way in which people so often feel like they can save the situation by giving. Giving should just be in this place of knowing that you help yourself and you help your whole community every time you give. When you see someone that you see as quote unquote less fortunate than you, we should all be in this place of knowing that that could be us, or that could be that person is us, because we are connected to our community. When we give, it shouldn't be because we want to get something back in return, but we want to give because we know that giving is the thing that we want to do or should do. And the more we give to others, the more that we receive, just through the way that the world works, like whether that's a literal physically receiving something back, or metaphorically, or something that comes up down the line. Or if you believe in karma, this is the good karma tarot. It's just good karma to be giving selflessly. So keeping that in mind, I think that you are probably looking to balance out something about your relationship with giving, or maybe balance out some of that reciprocity with others in your life. The Hierophant is so often about seeking knowledge, like perhaps you want to learn more, go back to school. Maybe you already are in school and you're learning more, or, if this is about some sort of connection with someone else, maybe you're learning about relationships, and trying to understand more about that, or getting a mentorship of some sort. Definitely about traditional learning experiences often. And I see, more of that energy of wanting to find balance with the Justice in reverse. You could be feeling very out of balance. Sometimes when we get thrown into a situation that's not really something that we already have expertise in, it can definitely give us that feeling. With Temperance, you're looking to balance, you're looking also for what is the give and take here. I feel like Temperance is all about, someone who can really know what to say at the right time, someone who knows how to act in with like just the right thing, do just the right sort of when to give and when to hold back. Like Temperance is still about that energy we've already been talking about. So with that upright, it does seem like you're learning with your actions what that looks like. That's really a curious situation. But with the Four of Wands, I see that you are getting out there and you're celebrating. Like this new experience is actually really exciting for you, or it involves community or celebratory events in some way. With the Ace of Coins in reverse and the Ace of Swords in reverse, okay, there's some things that you're maybe not seeing about the situation. With the Ace of Coins reverse, I think that's all about abundance. Sometimes that's monetary, sometimes it's family, but it's really just things that make you feel like you have a lot. And so I think that, potentially all this celebrating is hitting your wallet, maybe in like a literal way. Or I think that there's something about this that you're not seeing that could be creating more abundance in your life. Maybe it's building more friendships or more relationships with your family, or it's building, some more monetary opportunities for monetary gain for you, or gains with friendships. This kind of like could feel like a situation that came to mind is like maybe a family reunion is coming up, and you're like, man, my family's kind of mean to me. They're not really always on my side like that, and they want me to show up to this event, but I feel like it's going to be hard. Like I'm not going to get that reciprocity that I want. It'll make me feel out of balance. And it feels like I'll be jumping into like the traditions with my family, possibly having to go back to old situations and times. And I'll have to really think about what I say and what I do so that I don't get myself or anyone else into trouble. And, I could see a situation like that sort of with all of these cards here. Like, how do I jump into that? That doesn't feel like a good opportunity to me, because the Ace of Swords is all about opportunity. Yeah. So whatever is happening for you, whatever you're jumping into, the Four of Swords coming up is indicating that you kind of need a rest or a break, or, it might be potentially that this situation sort of just needs to be put on the back burner for you for a minute. I don't know. My pile ones, exactly what the situation is. Those is general, so there will be a good group of people looking at this. But it does sound like it's a tricky situation that you're trying to navigate, but you're trying to be joyful while you do it. And I think that rest that you're going to be getting or seeking is going to be really important for making this work out for you. Okay, let's look at the card that we pulled here. Listen. And I think that sort of energy is definitely something that we see in the Four of Swords. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle some more oracle cards for you with this gold crown on the back of it. So, happiness and joy. For pile number 1, what sort of things do they need to think about and consider or be cautious about? Okay, so oh my gosh. Okay, well, this is too many cards, but I'm going to keep shuffling. I'm not going to show you those. Also, I'm going to turn those over for a second. Actually, I think maybe that's plenty. So at the bottom of the deck, you had flower. Be honest with yourself. I like to think, pile number 1's, that one person that we should be able to expect honesty from is ourselves. Though there are a lot of times when we're just not as honest with ourselves as we should be. Like, maybe we're feeling, maybe sometimes we don't always think about things as logically as we should. And we're like, oh, well, I'm feeling this way, but maybe it's just this, or maybe it's just that. And I think we tend to like logic ourselves out of our intuition and emotions. So I'm wondering if you're doing that to yourself, pile number 1 in this situation. So, just make sure that you're checking with yourself. How do I really feel about it? Be honest with yourself. Gold. You don't need someone else to fix you. Sword. Make the change. Gardener. Something lovely will come of this. Oh, I like that. Okay, pile 1s. Whatever this is that you're thinking about leaping into, it does seem like these cards are really encouraging you to go for it. And if part of the reason you feel like you're not going to be able to do this is because you know that you'll have to make some changes in your life, the sword is coming in here to say, go ahead and make that change. Like, why not? In here, she's cutting her hair. I feel like especially people who can grow their hair super, super long, it's so traumatic when they cut it. It just feels like such a drastic change. And it is a trope used in a lot of film media and other events to signify someone having a big internal physical change. And maybe that's a sort of energy that you're seeking, pile number 1. maybe you know that you can't give as much as you used to something, and you need to make that change. And that's okay. Something lovely, you don't need someone else to fix you. I feel like so often when we are doing a lot for someone or something, sometimes for a lot of us, there's this unconscious reason of feeling like you need to prove yourself, and that's why some folks might go above and beyond to do that, and they'll feel like the sort of like, people-pleasing behavior, that sort of gratification that they get from the other person, or the approval that they get from the other person, will help them be fixed or help them be a better person. And it can't completely come from that. It can't come from the other people outside of you to be a good person. It just has to come from your own beliefs and you validating yourself. Like, is this what I want to be doing? That's way more important, pile number ones, than someone else's approval. But whatever you are getting into with the garden over here, it sounds like something really lovely is going to come out of this. So I encourage you to definitely follow your heart and do what you think is right in this situation. Being of service can be such a great thing, but we have to be honest with ourselves about what our boundaries are for being of service. There's like a point in time where we might start being of service for the wrong reasons. Make sure that those reasons are more for, you're doing this because you think it's the right thing to do, and less because you're doing this because it's what it's expected of you, or it'll make someone else happy. Let's go ahead and get some messages from this deck. Oh, let me show it to you. It's got a beautiful sun and stars and moon on it. So it definitely fits into our yellow theme, even though it's kind of a little bit more tan, like golden tan color. So, happiness, all things yellow for pile number one. Give us some words of wisdom. Okay. Be fearlessly you. It's time to become fearlessly you. This is the most powerful step you can take towards living your best life. Don't worry about what others think. Oops. You're appreciated. Your family and friends appreciate you more than you know. Friendship. You're an incredible friend. You're valued and a joy to be around. Heal. Allow yourself time to heal. Be kind with yourself right now. And peace and tranquility is at the bottom of the deck. Peace, tranquility surrounds your life right now. A peaceful road awaits. Okay, I really love that. Okay, pile number ones. I just think that we're getting some more confirmations that this is involving friends and family, or we have friends both. So some of the relationships you have in your life are definitely something that's sort of on your mind at the moment when you're thinking about your actions in relationship to them. And I was talking earlier about people pleasing, trying to get the potential. Sometimes we may not even realize it, but we want that approval from the people that we love and care about. So I get the feeling that maybe you've been trying to change yourself, or being more careful about how you act for your friends, or for that approval, or to be of service for them. And I think that is important to do a little bit. Just remember that you need to also be yourself. Be fearlessly you. And also, take a moment to look into why these actions are happening. Like, whether or not, like, maybe do some journaling, maybe do some, sitting and meditation with yourself, like this lady is up here. Why am I acting this way? Why do I want to do this? Why am I thinking so much about this? And just sort of like be honest with yourself. What are those things? I think that's just always a practice that we need to keep in mind when we're looking at our actions, is that so often we can act from a place that's just, hurt from something else. And if you give yourself some space and time to look at what those really are, then you can heal. And I'm not saying that to say that you're doing anything wrong or anything like that. That's something that we all do. And it doesn't necessarily mean that those actions are necessarily bad. It's so often, I feel like we hear so much about toxic behavior, this and toxic that, and we forget that all of those behaviors are something that we can do to protect ourselves at any time, and they could be used for good. The bigger problem is when we're habitually relying on them, that they become sort of something that's not healthy for us or others and those around us. So I think, healing work just involves looking inward and being like, hey, I keep doing this thing, and I know I did it because of this. But I just have to remind myself that, that whatever happened in the past isn't happening now. And I can do differently because I know differently. Peace, tranquility surrounds you right now. A peaceful road awaits. I think that even though the situation, I'm not actually seeing any sort of like extra anxiety necessarily in the cards, but I feel like if it were me, maybe I'd be overthinking it and feeling some anxiety. So I'm adding this extra message just because I get how things can be like that. But what you're really emanating to other people right now is peace, and you taking some time to go inward, take some time with yourself, taking time to listen instead of act and give and support might be just what you need to really feel that peace in yourself too. Okay, that's all I'm seeing for you. Group number 1, thank you so much for letting me read for you and joining me today. And I hope you have a great day. Bye. Hi, if you chose pile number 2 with the golden yellow pen, then this is your group's reading. I'm going to start with these pre-shuffled cards. I'll give you a closer look at them. For your tarot card, we have the 6 of Cups reversed. For these don't have reversals, so I'm going to turn it around. For these oracle cards right next to it, you have Worthy, the ladybug, Expectation, Desire, and Acceptance. Okay, pile number 2, folks. It looks like with the 6 of Cups reversed, the 6 of Cups to me is all about innocence, returning to, your home place, the place where you grew up, or your home life, or people that you used to know coming back into your life. And so I think with the 6 of Cups, you have a little bit of some resistance to doing that. Like for some people, it can represent pregnancy and children coming into their life, whether it's through their own body or through a situation like maybe you work with kids. So with the 6 of Cups reversed, I'm wondering if maybe that's just something you're not interested in right now. There's definitely so much talk about pregnancy, especially when I'm creating this reading. and the overturn case of a certain case that happened not so long ago. There's definitely a lot of concern about pregnancy and what does that mean right now if we get pregnant. So I imagine that could be something that's on your mind as well. Or it could just be simply like maybe you work with kids and you've been working with kids for years and years and years, and you're like, you know what, I don't want to work with kids anymore. I want to try to do something different. Or maybe you're reconnecting with your family and like kids just aren't your thing and they're going to be around and you're like, man, I don't want to go home and see all these kids. And I'm not laughing at you. I'm just a giggly person, so don't take any offense to that. But perhaps it's a situation like that to do with like, maybe you want to visit your you need to visit your family, but you kind of don't want to. Something like that. So that's what I'm seeing in the Six of Cups reverse. There's quite a few different, I'm trying to throw out a few different pathways for all the different people watching. Acceptance, desire, worthy, and expectation. I think that there's something in here where you feel like you have to do this. You felt previously like you had to do this to be accepted, or it's an expectation of you to do that. Something about it was built into your worthiness, but that feels juxtaposed to your desire, like coming through really strongly is, do I have the desire to do this or not? And so, yeah, let's find out more. My group twos, oops. So I'm going to shuffle these cards with a golden crown on the back. And these are oracle cards, so we're going to find out a little bit more about our situation. My group 2 folks. So let's see. Happiness and joy. Caution and all things yellow for my group 2 pile. Whoa, that fell on the floor. So I might pause the camera right now. Oh no. All right, well, I'm back with a card, and I totally ran over it with my with my chair, but that's okay. So we have the Thorn. Your potential is endless. Let's get some more. Please don't fall on the floor this time. We can have one more. Okay. We got the sun. Oh, I love that. Paint the sun back into your sky. Wings. You never needed those wings to fly. And at the bottom of the deck, be fire. Stand up for yourself. So my group 2 folks, whatever this is that you're not really interested in doing, or I don't know if there's just some quality of it that you're not interested in, it just doesn't bring you joy like it should. I'm seeing a couple different things here. Like this card, your potential is endless, that popped out and flew across the room and got run over, just to emphasize its strength. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Your potential is endless. Like, you could make so many other choices and be happy with those choices too. Even if you decided to do this, whatever you decide to do is going to be, something that can work out for you because you have so much potential. And if you decide to leave this, you did not need this to feel worthy, or, it's not an expectation that you need to fulfill. I think is what I'm seeing with the, you never needed those wings to fly. You don't have to do it. With Bitchfire, you know, maybe in this situation, you just need to stand up for yourself. Like, you could potentially be reconnecting with why you wanted to do it in the first place. Like, paint the sun back into your sky. I mean, I'm wondering if maybe this is something that you used to really want, or something that you really loved, and you just need to reconnect with how it made you feel, even if you came to a period of time where it just really wasn't doing it for you, like it just really wasn't bringing you much joy. You know, or you can move on to something else, and maybe that will bring you more joy. Like, maybe you just need to find what that is that lights you up and go for that, whether it is this thing that you're trying to go back to or something else. You know, you definitely need to assert your boundaries in the situation with stand up for yourself. Like, you know, if it's just a quality of the situation that's bothering you and not something specific, you can just, you know, make that known. Be like, hey, this has been a really great experience, or this is definitely something I want to do, but not like this. And if this sort of thing happens, you know, maybe I want that to change. And people don't always know that you want things to change unless you say something, or people don't always know that you don't want to do something unless you let them know. Even if they know us really well, they are not able to read our minds. So you might have to go out there and be like, you know what, 1 + 1 is 2. And if 2 is where I want to be. I'm getting a lot of 1 + 3, you know, 2 - 1. That's not what I want. To use a funny math analogy, at least funny to me. All right, so let's get some words of wisdom and guidance with this deck. And this is Pass Around the Smiles deck for guidance with the sun on the back. So cute. And even though it's not completely yellow, I feel like with the sun, the moon, and the stars on the back, it's definitely giving yellow vibes. All right, let's get some advice, guidance. All right, for our group 2s. You know, I'm seeing a lot of that repeating bright lights coming up here, and that's so cool. New beginning. An exciting shift is on its way. A new job, project, promotion, or home is in the works. Divine timing. Everything will make sense soon. Trust that the timing of your life is being taken care of for you by your angels and the universe. Okay. Can we have some more? I feel like they want to come out, but they're just like not quite falling. Oh, all right, there you go. Love. Positivity surrounds your love life right now. Give and receive love. Give love with a generous heart and receive love with an open heart. And forgive. Whether in person or in your mind, forgive and move forward. The only person you're hurting by holding on to this resentment is yourself. Okay, group 2s. Well, I wonder, like, you know, I could see this as a potential scenario for some of my group 2s. Like, perhaps the situation that you're thinking about going back to is like an ex, or like someone that you built family with. Like, maybe you have kids with them, or maybe you've known each other since you were kids. And that's coming into, you know, you're getting this reassured message that positivity surrounds your love life right now. And divine timing, a new beginning, yeah, I could just see all of these relating potentially to sort of a romantic situation like that. And maybe you're struggling to forgive this person. Um, and, I understand that. Like, for me, so often, I'll feel a lot of certainty about what path I need to move forward with working out, and I decide to leave it and pull my energy from it. Usually I'll be really certain that that's the path that I need to take, and it'll be hard for me to change my mind. And I just want you to remember that, and it's a thing I need to tell myself too. So, don't think that I have this completely figured out either. But sometimes we're holding on to that because we just haven't forgiven that person. And like, we can forgive them and not fall into the same situation that we were in before, or we can forgive them and that will just help us. Like, they never even have to know that we forgive them. Um, yeah, so if that's for a romantic situation, I could see that. For those of you that this is like a job or like family situation that you're thinking about going to, um, I know that so many people we're really taught to separate our love from our work. But if you work with kids, or if you work in like a community setting, or if you work with family, that's impossible. And I, I feel like it's definitely very possible to um, be loving and give and receive love while you're at your place of work, especially in those settings that I'm talking about. Like if you're working with family, if you're working with kids, like I think that you bring those things to the table when you're there. And um, if it's like something that you're fighting, if you feel like it feels too messy to do that, um, just you can just be, you can feel in your heart that that's something that's for you. And if you're constantly fighting that in yourself, okay, voiceover Cicely here, because the end of this video got mysteriously corrupted. At least the audio doesn't work and then the video cuts out. I do have a bit of cold, so apologize for how I sound right now. What I was trying to say here was that if you're continuously fighting the desire to be very loving while at work, or receive love while at work, or have your work and your passions align, that's a lot of effort that would sort of cause a lot of turmoil within you. And perhaps, maybe there's a part of you that wants to do different work because it aligns more with what you love and your heart's passions. One thing I also am getting from this reading is there's something that happened in the past, like maybe this is a person that you were dating, or I do get a lot of work energy from this, like someone that you potentially were working for or with, or also a family dynamic could be in here too. But whatever it is for you, there's something or someone that really didn't really treat you guys the best, and it sort of shook your confidence and your sense of worthiness. And I just want to say right now, group number 2, is that you seem like a very powerful person. We got some cards that are really indicative of that here, and that I think that the B Fire card especially is really letting us know that you definitely should be able to stand your ground and speak up for yourself. But I think that there's a piece here of you needing to heal, of you needing some time and energy to yourself to get at your new beginnings and remember your worthiness and remember what lights you up. And I just want to encourage you to have that optimism for the things that you love and the people that you love, and that things in your love life, whether that's applying to work or romance, are definitely going to get better from here. And I hope that you can find it in yourself to express that and value that for yourself. Well, that's all I'm seeing for you, my group number 2 folks, and I hope you'll join me for the next reading. If this was helpful for you at all, please give the video a like. It will help other people find this video too. And if it resonated with you, leave a comment below. I love hearing how the readings potentially were for people. I hope you have a great day. Bye. Hi, if you chose group number 3 with the Sunstone Palmstone, this is your group's reading. I went ahead and pre-shuffled some yellow-backed cards here that we're going to start with our reading, and then we'll move on to different cards. So first, let's pull out these tarot cards. You have the Wheel of Fortune reversed, the Page of Coins reversed. Oh, he's so cute with those books. The Empress, the Three of Coins, and Death reversed. Oh, okay, my pile number 3 folks. I just want to start off with saying that the Wheel of Fortune reversed is all about how good things come in very cyclical, well, I guess cyclical cycles, but they come, everything is formatted in a very cyclical way in the tarot. But I think also it's pretty true of life too. Like when you hit a low moment, when you're at the bottom of, Wheel's Fortune, you have to keep in mind that the wheel's going to change. And, you've heard that phrase, like, you can only go up from here. That sort of thing, when you feel like you're in a low moment, sometimes that's just an indicator that good moments are coming next. I think with the Empress over here on this side, you might be having some really interesting dreams right now. You might be having some, like, it also signifies like the ultimate mother, the ultimate like nurturing energy. And you might be getting some helpful hints to your situation from that life, like your intuition, your dreams. What do you feel sort of is nourishing you right now? I think it's a call to sort of lean into that, or you might be someone who's giving that out into the world. I had the window open, so there are some flies on my flowers, but that's just nature. Don't take that as a sign for anything, I don't think. The Page of Coins in reverse, I think that with this card in particular, I feel like that person just looks really shy. Like they're not really sure how they want to go out and pursue their knowledge or their abundance. So perhaps you're feeling that too. And maybe the bottom, like being more towards the bottom of the Wheel of Fortune, at least in how you feel at the moment, is kind of keeping you from putting yourself out there. So the Three of Coins is all about work and collaboration. It's definitely one of my favorite cards. But I'm wondering if this has something to do with like your work life or people at work, or maybe the personal work that you are put on the world to do, whether that's a 9-to-5 job or a noon to midnight job or whatever. Maybe it has something to do with your work and your collaboration with others. And with the Death in reverse, I think that there's either can be a signifier that nothing really is going to change that drastically, or we can have like a fear of change, being like, oh wow, I don't know about, and I think that's kind of more what I'm getting. I don't know about putting myself out there right now. Maybe that will be too much change. Maybe that won't nourish me. But I do think that you have, I think that you really do want to get some nourishment and change in your life. I think that that's what the Empress showing up in our reading is suggesting, as well as the Page of Coins, that, that something about this is for you. You just got to figure that out for yourself. Manifest. Okay, well, that's really a cool coincidence, because this stands for the solar plexus chakra, which is yellow. I think I'm saying that right. Let me double check. And I might pause this if it's too much dead time. Yeah, we are on the solar plexus chakra with this color alignment series. So the fact that you got also the solar plexus chakra card, I think that's just further confirmation that you're really doing what's right for you. Though I do see a lot of green in your reading. There's like leaves and things like that. So perhaps also the previous reading with the color green would be a good one for you to check out too. Oh yeah, and here's some more green with empathy, the little turtle in reverse. And I think that perhaps this is something that you need to give yourself, my people watching group number 3, is a little bit more empathy for your own actions, because it sounds like you've been really busy and you've been doing a lot. Like, we have to really be moving to even feel a downward tilt in what we're getting into. So I think that you are a very active, collaborative, and creative person. So I think that's really cool. So with the let me go back to the solar plexus chakra coming out. Like, it definitely is all about what are you radiating out into the world. And a lot of times we do that through like our creativity, our energy, our aura, like, um, how are you really nourishing that? Like, the way that you are expressing yourself. So I think that that would be maybe something that will bring you a little bit more happiness in your life, because this happiness and joy is definitely something I think goes hand in hand with yellow and the solar plexus chakra. So, okay, let's get some further nuances. Oh, I should tell you about this deck. I'm going to give you some messages from this deck with the golden crown on it. Since I decided to include gold. So happiness, fulfillment, caution, and all things yellow. All right. Okay, we got some cards here. We got garden, very golden. Something lovely will come from this. Throne, your potential is endless. These are, I'm not going to do reversals. So mirror, treat your body like the place it is. That goes back to giving you some empathy. Let them go with the tree on fire. And sword, make the change. This reading has trended to be all about what will bring you more happiness and joy in your life. And I think that, this reading, I'm getting the vibe that you really should be maybe leaning more into your intuition. What do you need to let go of? What changes do you need to make? And then also giving yourself some empathy and compassion. With the Wheel of Fortune message, sometimes we do need to go through situations that are a little bit on the more downside of the wheel, so that we can get to those better situations, those things that are really going to be amazing for us. So I think that the garden card is saying that, something good will come out of this. Really remember that you can make a lot of different choices and get that fulfillment that you want. Your potential is endless. Um, you know, we're really hearing in these cards that, like, you could make this choice, you can make a different choice, you could put yourself out there in a different way, and you'll still have a great outcome. It doesn't have to be one way. Mirror, treat your body like the palace it is. Yeah, you deserve that empathy, you deserve that respect, like, and sometimes making changes and letting go of things is a way that we give ourselves that, like, treating yourself like a palace. We're not going to leave, like, we're going to clean it. We're not going to, like, leave rotten things around the palace. We're not going to put up with that broken furniture. We're going to fix it or replace it. So, definitely keep that in mind. Your body is something that deserves that sort of respect, something that someone would wage a war for, like, really treat it like it's something magnificent too, because it's a part of you, it holds you. Okay, so let's get some more messages from my folks watching group number 3. Oh, upside down. This is I really like this deck because it's going to give us some guidance. It's from Pass Around the Smile, and it has a sun, moon, and stars. So even though it's not completely yellow, I feel like it really falls into our theme today. so let's do it. All right, so happiness, contentment, joy, and caution, all things yellow for my group 3 folks. Whoa, that's way too many. A little bit less than that. 3 folks. Alright guys, these are really flipping over for you, so I'm ready. You know, we got friendships. You're an incredible friend. You are valued and a joy to be around. Give and receive love. Give love with a generous heart and receive love with an open heart. Divine timing. Everything will make sense soon. Trust that the timing of your life is being taken care of by your angels and by the universe. Let it go. Oh wow, we got that message again. It's time to let go of the negative thoughts that are consuming you. Don't waste your energy on them any longer. Meditate. Meditation is powerful and can help you to see clearly, remain calm, and become at peace with yourself and what you deserve. Oh, and I love that we have yellow, sort of like that flower in that too. Release. What does that say? I don't think I've ever gotten this card before, which is really cool. I love discovering the deck as I go, so. Release your energy. Sometimes the most productive way forward is to stop, rest, and reassess. What was I saying earlier? Clear your mind. Take a walk, bath, or meditate. Clearing your mind is important in moving forward for you right now. And heal. Allow yourself the time to heal. Be kind to yourself right now. And you are appreciated. Your family and friends appreciate you more than you know. Okay, my group number 3 folks. It sounds like that message that I was getting about, you know, maybe that hesitancy on moving forward, maybe that has a lot to do with your own energy of maybe needing a rest or a break and getting some time to sort of go within and, you know, really nourish yourself and realign and rebalance yourself. So I guess I'm glad that you're here looking at this reading, because maybe it will be helping you do some of that. You know, take whatever resonates from it that will help you. And it does sound like your collaboration with your work and the people around you, maybe there needs to be some time when, instead of just working with them, you work on your relationships with them, whether that's friendships or colleagues or, you know, things like that. I think that we have a big interest in wanting to keep like our work life and our home life and our friendship life in like these very separate compartments. But I think that in reality, things don't always line up that neatly, especially if you feel really passionately about the work that you do, or that overlaps with your 9-to-5 job. Like the work that you're meant to do in life is also the work that you're doing at work. You know, we can really meet a lot of people that we resonate strongly with, that make their ways into our hearts, that we want to give our time and energy to and be friends with, and that's totally fine. But even if it's not the people that you're working with, it does seem like there are multiple messages for, you know, getting out there with your family and your loved ones and your support network, and really allow them to care for you and love you, and love them too. You know, if you are going through a hard time right now, which I'm kind of getting the feeling that you might be, feeling some, like, I don't see any like strong feelings of grief or anxiety or depression, but going through the bottom of the Wheel of Fortune, even though it's changing for you soon, because the Wheel of Fortune is always a very positive card, that can still be a hard moment and it can give us some grief. So I think that whatever it is that happens, just remember that it's going to change, and it's going to change for the better. You know, and like while we are going through periods of that time, it's really important that we lean into our support network and let them know what's happening with us. Um, you know, that is how we make it through this life. Like, we don't make it through alone. We always have those people around us that are helping us, even if they're not people that you potentially know that well. You know, those people show up in the times that we need them, no matter what. You just gotta pay it. You just gotta be accepting of it and willing to receive it. So if a random person to you says hi and you tell them about what's going on with you and they offer to help, take it. You know, that could be like such a blessing right now. So I want to draw from this deck. I arranged it in the visible spectrum. I didn't really get a card signifying a lot of loss or grief, but I, just in case some of you on here are feeling that, let's draw from here and get into a message there. I arranged it in the visible spectrum and rainbow. This card right here is just on top so that we don't see what this says. I'm going to pick from the yellow section since we're on the solar plexus yellow color alignment video today. And I'm going to get us a little message to help us with our grief, loss, or moving on. So I'm just going to close my eyes and pull from here. Hopefully I can get it from the right section. Okay. Navigating celebrations. The celebrations of life can be especially hard. There might be traditions you had that just feel wrong to be celebrating when when everything has changed. Here are a few ideas to help you cope during these times. Celebrate or create boundaries. You don't have to do what you've always done. But also you can. You are allowed a timeout. You are allowed to limit your time. If you need time alone, or to celebrate in a quieter or louder way, or not celebrate at all, that's okay. Loosen your expectations. The celebration might not be enjoyable this year or next. You're allowed to enjoy yourself, but you're also allowed to cry, change your mind, and be sad. Yeah, that's always true. Even if you're not going through a hard time, sometimes we just are sad. Talk about your loved one. If you feel like it, grief isn't something that can be swallowed down for the day, and you don't need to protect anyone else from your feelings. So I think that even if, like I said, it's not specifically about a particular person or event, we can take that more loosely too. Like I was saying earlier, talk to your support network about what you're going through. I think that will really help you getting the message that will bring you a lot more happiness and contentment and joy in your life if you let them lean in and help you and celebrate you and help you heal. All right, my group number threes, thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it resonated for you. And I hope you have a lovely, beautiful day. Bye. Hi. Hey. If you chose group number 4 with the Peach Morganite Tower, then this is your group's reading. Don't mind my kitty in the background. She just came inside and she's really excited. Hi. So I pre-shuffled some cards here that will get our reading started. I also want to apologize for it being so dark. The sun did set while I was finishing up my last reading because I had some technical difficulties with my camera. So I just am hopeful that I'm reaching a lot of sunny night owls like like myself with this. And you know, it just is what it is. The Nine of Wands is our first card. We got the Queen of Wands. Let me put you up here in reverse. I got the Five of Cups. Okay. And the Ten of Wands reversed. Okay, my pile number 4s. It sounds like we are perhaps dealing with a time where we've completed a lot of work. The Ten of Wands is a card for the worker and working really hard. And so you felt like there was a lot to do recently and a lot of burdens on you. With it being reversed, though, I see that that's kind of coming to an end, and that period of hard work is sort of over for the time being. Then, yeah, the Nine of Wands. It can really just indicate a lot of sort of like work and burden as well. But I think it has more to do with your path forward. Like, look how she's looking out. She's like getting the sweat off her forehead, but she's still like, man, I did that. And she sort of looks like she's going to be walking off to a new adventure. That's kind of what I'm getting from your pile. With the Queen of Wands in reverse, I think that this situation has sort of made you feel out of your power. The Queen of Wands is just like that very powerful, inspirational leader that everyone wants to back, and what she says, people do. So I think that you're sort of feeling like, man, that whole situation had you feeling a little out of your power and a little out of kilter, or helter skelter. That's the phrase, right? I think. The Five of Cups too is really all about worry. Hi, Joel. With the Five of Cups, just like in this card too, we see that there are all these cups that have fallen over, but behind her, there are still 2 cups that have yet to fall. So it can really indicate that we're in our head about something that we perceived as going wrong. But it really is sort of encouraging you that more of that is in your head than you might realize, and that there really are some really good opportunities and some really good things that you've created that are still intact and thriving. And I think that's great. So we have Desire, which, wow, that's cool. It is yellow and orange. And this particular deck is painted to represent the chakras. So that's no mistake. So we have Desire. I'm going to put the other one right next to it. And we have Boundaries. So, and which we also have a lot of yellow and green on, and a little bit of purple. So I'm hoping that all this yellow means that this is a really good reading for you to get to, that it is helping you with balancing the yellow things in your life. All right, so with Desire and Boundaries, I think that there's something to be said for you about perhaps really honoring and asserting, like, what is it about the situation that did work really well for you, that like really went into strike your, well, it felt fulfilling to your desires. And what is it about this that had left you feeling overworked and worried and out of power? And I think that that might be a signifier that it crossed some of your own personal boundaries that maybe you didn't realize you had or needed to assert. So, I've definitely been there, when you're helping out a friend or you're working on a project, and then it kind of gets to be more than you anticipated it to be, and you're like, oh, I can do this. I'm a really capable person. Let me just power through this. But at the end of the whole ordeal, you're like, man, I should have said no, or I should have done less. So I'm going to pull some more messages from this crown backed deck, since we included golden in our reading. Hi. I'm sorry that the cat's just going to yell through this whole reading, I think. So what are some happiness, joy, and all things yellow for my people watching pile number 4? Gray, endings are inevitable. Escapist, come home to yourself. Let's get some more. Why not? I got Bitchfire. Stand up for yourself. Yeah, assert those boundaries. Sometimes we're afraid to do that because we think it'll make us look like a bee, but you got to. Lighthouse, don't doubt your worth. Happiness, joy, caution, and all things yellow. Any more cards want to come out? Okay. Okay, that's plenty. So, put this back. Universe, we're all just stardust. Lioness, you've earned your stripes. Witch, justice is coming. Nice. Okay, my group number 4, so I'm going to move that over since we're at the last reading. We can. Alright. My folks watching group number 4, I want to revisit this talk of boundaries or standing up for yourself. Whatever this was that you went through that felt like hard work and it took you out of your power and left you worried. It sounds like we've maybe given too much of ourselves to the situation, or we're worried that we have. You know, and even though this, whatever this is, has come to an end, I think there's still a good opportunity to either in the future or to talk about this with the person, place, or thing that this was, if you return to it, that there are a lot of things that happened that maybe you weren't okay with, or that weren't something that you had the capacity to do. They weren't necessarily in line with your personal boundaries. So when we let other people take advantage of our time and overwork us, like in a job, or there are people who, you know, will receive whatever you give them. They might not be realizing that you're giving beyond the capacity that you want to be giving. So you're letting them know that you don't respect yourself enough to put up with that. And so when we see our self-worth more and we have belief in our own worth, we advocate for ourselves more. And so I think that even if you feel like that might be met with not the greatest response, I really want to encourage you, I wish you would, just definitely stand up for yourself. Now that this thing is over, I feel like there's an opportunity to feel proud of yourself and like kind of let go of situations and let this end. You know, you've earned your stripes, you put in your time. You know, endings are inevitable too. Like, it's just ending, and we are all stardust is really something about how everything is going to change. Like, we are all connected to the same thing at the end of the day. Like, we're all made of little atoms in the same matter, and we're all here in the community with each other. So just remember that whatever is going on is bigger than yourself, but you do need to honor yourself and come home to yourself. Like, take this time to really reconnect with who you are. You know, sit back and sort of relax for a little bit and like have a minute to revel in how much you've accomplished, because it sounds like you are all very hardworking and productive folks. So I bet you've just accomplished so much with all the effort you've been putting in. Yeah, you'll sit back, relax, get out of the situation, and realize that sometimes things just take care of themselves. Like, justice is coming. If you were wronged by the situation, not through giving too much to it, but by it asking too much of you in an unjust way, and you are not in that situation anymore, just remember that those sorts of places, people, and things, they attract their own justice. Well, this is the good karma tarot, so I think there's sometimes a lesson of that, like, you know, if you are sucking up too many things, like, it just can't go on forever. Like, eventually your spot will get blown up and karma will come for you because you've been taking advantage of the good things that have come to you a little too much. And not you, but whatever this other thing, person, or place is that has you feeling like this. So I want to move on and pull from this deck, which isn't exactly yellow, but it does have a sun and stars and a moon on it. So I think it fits in with our yellow theme really well. So it's by Pass Around the Smile. Why don't you give us any sort of joy? How can we move towards more joy, happiness? What should we be cautious about? And all things yellow. You know, the other color I'm seeing a lot in your reading is indigo, like that blue, purple, night sky color. So perhaps you might want to go check out the indigo video when it comes out. Okay. Some more yellow gold spirituality. By opening your mind up spiritually, you become more thoughtful and peaceful. Your spiritual journey is inspiring to others. Self-love. It's time to fall in love with yourself. You come first. Listen to your heart. You're the only one who has the answers you're searching for. Quiet your mind and listen. It's there. You're appreciated. Your family and friends appreciate you more than you know. New beginnings. An exciting shift is on its way. A new job, project, promotion, or home is in the works. So I think that's just further confirmation that you did the right thing by leaving whatever this was behind and changing. And I think that you did listen to your heart, or you're going through a period of time where your heart is maybe processing what you've just been through. And so it's a good opportunity to sort of listen to what it's telling you. You know, it's really reaffirming that you have the power for the answers that you're seeking and thinking about. And I think that that's really cool. That's a really beautiful thing. Sometimes when we're worried, though, we can confuse our intuition and what our heart wants with worry and fear. So just keep that in mind, that not all of those feelings might be really what you're believing in yourself or feeling in your heart. Some of it might just be worry. It's okay to let that go. You're appreciated. Your family and friends appreciate you more than you know. So when we are trying to move towards things that are, well, actually, I think that my pile number 4 people, I think that you guys are maybe not feeling appreciated by others specifically. And I think this is just affirming for us that people really do appreciate you. People saw that hard work that you put in and the productivity that you were able to create, and like the beautiful things that you were able to make. And they admire that so much about you. And maybe we just need to maybe we need to talk to them and find that out, Maybe you've been kind of in your head a little bit and haven't been listening or talking to people that much. Spirituality. So I want it to be open to whoever's reading this, like whatever spirituality, religion, or whatever it is that you believe in and you pursue. I want to respect that. I think that's one of the beautiful things about the country we live in, is that we have the freedom to follow our hearts and whatever that is, or we're supposed to be given that right. So, I think that this is just saying whatever that means for you. that is sort of something that is going to bring you some insight into the situation and some peace. And since this is all about what will bring you more joy and happiness, what we should be thinking about because it's yellow, I think perhaps this is really significant for you in particular. Whether that's with a formal thing or not, I think that people really can find it inspiring what you've been through. So perhaps the situation has sparked that in you somehow, and you've been thinking about it a lot more. And maybe you need to talk about it more and share that with people. People will be inspired by your personal take on things and how this is really integrating into your life for the better. So keep that in mind. And yeah, like take this time for self-care. I remember saying that earlier. I think come home to yourself. Love yourself. It's time to fall in love with yourself. You come first. Okay, my group number 4, folks. I am going to pull a card from this deck called the Grief Companion. And I didn't see that you specifically lost anyone, but it does seem like you have a lot of worry on your mind. And I feel like when recently I had to put one of my cats down. I mean, obviously I have another one. You heard her the whole time. But I just really realized that a lot of cards do not specifically address grief and those sort of feelings that come up when you're going through that process. It was super hard, and I got this just for that. And I noticed that the cards align in the visible spectrum. So I have them arranged like this for us. This is just an extra card that I have so we can't read the top. And I am going to get in here and pull from the yellow section since it's the card, this is the color that we're on right now. Okay, so I'm going to close my eyes, and it's about this big, so hopefully it ends up being yellow. Oh, you have 2. Relationship changes. One of the hardest things about grief can be the changes in your other relationships. Some families and communities pull together strongly, others can fracture. Some acquaintances will step up, some good friends will fade into the background. Some people who genuinely love you won't be able to cope with your grief and will distance themselves when you need them most. Whether you have your loved ones supporting you or not, grief can still be a lonely, unspoken experience. News stories. It's a rare collector's item to learn new things about your loved ones, even if they've died, it says posthumously. Or even if they're not with you anymore, I think we can take it like that because you may not have actually lost a person. If possible, hi. If possible, talk to friends or coworkers or family members. Let them know that you want to hear stories about your loved one, and remember to ask lots of questions. Even stories you already know will feel fresh through someone else's eyes. Okay, so I think that we can take it this way too. If this isn't specifically about an individual person that you've lost, which I'm not necessarily getting that vibe, so I don't want you to freak out if that's not you. Also, just keep in mind that whatever we read here, you just get to take what resonates. It doesn't have to be, not everything in here will necessarily be specifically that's for you, because I don't have you in front of me while I'm reading this, and we don't have the ability to talk about it except in the comments below. So just take what resonates, and we can also take this in a way that's relating to the situation that I was getting of you ending something that was really hard work and had you left you worried and feeling not very powerful. Perhaps there's an opportunity here to talk about what you've been through and share those stories. I mean, I was getting a little bit that people could potentially be inspired by your spirituality and your growth through the situation. So perhaps people will want to hear that from you. Maybe you're building new stories that people will grow to hear, love, and understand. And then also, as this has changed for you, like I did get that vibe that it was sort of stressful, those changes. just keep in mind that things change, but there will definitely still be relationships that can support you in the long run. Those will always show up for us when we are going through a hard time if we let them. So, whether that's like someone you don't even know that well, like a stranger at the gym that you go to, or an event that you go to that just like is super curious about you and wants to know what's going on with you. And when you tell them, they are like, here's my number, let me know if you need anything. Those type of people can show up for us when we need it the most. And even just hearing that, I think sometimes for me, even just hearing that that person is willing to do that, even though they don't know me, is just such a beautiful thing that fills my heart up so much. And probably that's all I needed to hear. I don't even actually need their help. It just helps me. It helps my heart feel so full when they just say that they would show up for me like that. So, maybe some things that you had relied on are not there anymore, but there will be new things that will come to fill your heart. Those are the relationship changes that we see. Um, Okay, my group number 4, folks, I really hope that this helped you in some advice to move towards joy and happiness. And I hope you have a lovely day. You sound like such a beautiful, productive human. And I think that you're doing great things in the world. Bye.